There's a call for a God, I see it everywhere. Everybody's running scared, and everything is turning upside down. But the words I hear, they keep coming through from deep inside of me and you. It's telling us that love is who I am. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start.
Welcome to A Course of Love.
Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one.
Welcome to A Course of Love. This is Earl Purdy.
We are one.
Welcome to A Course of Love. Welcome to A Course of Love.
Now let's come together and understand that Christ was born inside of every man. He's waiting for us to choose him as ourselves.
Come on.
When you choose him, you know you choose me too. Everyone becomes a part of you. And then you know that love is who I am. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart.
We're beating the same heart.
We've been together from the start.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one.
We are one, mighty companions.
Yeah, we are one.
We are one.
Oh, we are one.
Welcome to A Course of Love. Welcome to A Course of Love. Hello, this is Earl Purdy. I want to welcome you to A Course of Love. I can see the family is gathering on Facebook Live. I'm so happy that you're here with me, that we're having this opportunity to join. You don't have to believe it, accept it, welcome it. Some of it may be hard to believe. Some of it may be quite startling. You're not asked to judge and analyze the ideas at all. This is a heart experience. This is a heart experience. If you use it, you will see that it works.
You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me, can you hear it?
Can you hear it?
Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one.
We are one, we are one, we are joining my family and we are one. We are one, we are one, we are joining my family and we are one. We are one, my family. We are, that's what we are, that's all we are. I am you, and you are me. I am you, and you are me. Oh, yeah. Woo, Brother John Christmas at www.johnchristmas.com if you want to get that music. Welcome, mighty companions. Welcome to the course, A Course of Love. It is so good to have you here with me. So let me be able to tune in to the broadcast myself so that I can respond and see who's online. All right. Want to say hello to all my mighty companions that are coming online right now. And I'm Earl Purdy, and we're going to do a course of love. A course of love is a hardcore, loving heart study. Thanks for sending the hearts out. Thanks for being in my life. Thank you. Thank you for joining me live. And I'm doing this live, even though I know you can watch it in the replay at other times, so that we can communicate with each other, so that you can communicate with each other. Comment, share the video, like the video. The more activity the video, the class generates here on Facebook Live, the more they extend it out over the Facebook network. And one of the most wonderful things that you could do right now to support my teaching ministry, teaching A Course of Love, is to share the video. Right next to where you make comments, you have an icon that allows you to share the video. Only takes 2 or 3 seconds to share the video. Let's put it out there so that more and more people can tune in and join us as a mighty companion. We're going to be in the course of love, and we're going to be in the addendum that's called Learning in the Time of Christ. And we're going to start at section 2, which is on page 670 in the Course of Love book. So we're going to be on page 670 in A Course of Love. So if you have the book, then let's turn to that page, and we're going to hear about how to go to the next level of learning. We're going to talk about how to go to the next. Thank you, Kathy, for sharing it. Thank you, Julie. Thank all of you who are online right now. Sophia. What we're going to do now is we're going to start with section 2 on page 670 in A Course of Love. Now, it uses the term readers who have not moved away from their desire to learn something that will feed their minds or egos will seldom continue to this next level. So who are the people who will not go to the next level of learning that A Course of Love is teaching? It's people who refuse to move away from their desire to learn through their egos, who insist on only learning through the rational, analytical mind. The next level, and that's what we're trying to go to, because we are trying to get in touch with how do you learn in the time of Christ? How do you learn in the time of the true recognition of who you really are? How do you learn from your real self? The next level brings with it the same situation the reader encountered in receiving the course, but the reader will now encounter these situations in life. In other words, the reader, that's you, is no longer a reader. What does that mean, that the reader is no longer a reader? It means their experience of this course has extended beyond reading, that your experience of this course has extended beyond the classroom situation. Now a time may come when studying truly seems to be in order. You may find that you'll need to truly study because you're at a brand new level now. So your sincerity, your desire to learn from the heart is realer than it's ever been before. The guidance that's going to be provided by your reading, this guidance that you're receiving through your reading, through your studying, may seem to come and go, and your desire to rely on what you have learned will grow. So even though the guidance that's provided by your reading, that guidance may come and that guidance may go, what you're going to realize is your desire to rely on what you've learned will grow. I find that more and more every day I want to let go of living in a duality. the duality of trying to live my life according to what the world teaches and attempting to live my life according to what A Course of Love is teaching. So your desire to use what you have learned is going to grow. Your desire to rely on what you are studying more than what the world teaches and believes, that's going to grow as you go to the next level. Now, when you really get sincere, I mean really get sincere on relying on what you have studied and learned, these are some of the things that are going to happen. Would you like to know how you can tell when you're reaching to the next level? You may desire to backtrack. You may desire to review. You may begin to highlight passages to return to again and again. When you go into the new level, new questions may arise. A desire for feedback, a desire for discussion may start to grow stronger. That is the reason why I'm doing A Course of Love Live. I'm doing the Course of Love Live so that you can have feedback, so that you can discuss with each other and discuss with me. This may also be precisely the time when the reader is so caught up in experience and learning in life that return to a group or classroom situation feels next to impossible. So some people are going to feel like having more study, being in the classroom, doing discussion, getting feedback, it's going to become stronger for this group of people. There's going to be another group of people in which being a part of a group, continuing to be a part of a group, continuing to be a part of a classroom situation will feel next to impossible. So some people are going to want to be more in group situations and discussions when they go to the next level of learning. Some people, when they go to the next level of learning, they are going to find that they don't feel that need to be part of a group or to be part of a discussion the way that they used to. So what does that mean? Well, it means that rather than being in a standard learning situation, what the reader who is now experiencing life in a new way is doing is attempting to reinforce what he or she already knows and has already accepted. You're going to go through a period where you're going to want to reinforce what you've accepted. The language is returned to. You may come back to the book as a helpful friend would be turned to for judgment-free advice. If the Course of Love represents the Christ consciousness, Yeshua talking to us, then you may want to come back to the teachings of A Course of Love so that you can have judgment-free advice. What's inside of A Course of Love is judgment-free advice. It's advice that's coming from another level of consciousness. It's advice that's coming from another dimension beyond this one. Do you ever really consider the source? I mean, do you ever really sit back and think that this is a book that has been channeled and has been received by Mari, and the true author of it claims to be Jesus, and Jesus is speaking to us from another dimension beyond the body, telling us the truth about reality beyond the physical perceptions that we are mesmerized and hypnotized by. I mean, if you were just to consider where this material is actually originating, it would call for a total paradigm shift. It would call for you to realize, wow, this is pretty deep stuff. It's actually claiming to come from a consciousness that's beyond the human body, communicating through a human being, the true nature of reality beyond what we know. That in itself means there's more to life than what we think, even though it may sound crazy to people who don't understand what we're doing. And that's okay. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the people who would think that what we are studying and what we're doing is insane. That is not our concern. What those who begin to experience life in a new way begin to discover are the patterns of thoughts and behavior that are most deeply entrenched in them. They feel in need of assistance. So as you begin to discover the new way, Earl, as you begin to discover the new way, what you're going to discover first is the patterns of thoughts, the patterns of behavior, your old ways of thinking that are most entrenched and most ingrained in you. And you're going to feel like you need some help. So it's natural at the next level of learning to feel like you need assistance. So what happens at that point when you feel like you need assistance because you're discovering the patterns of thoughts and the beliefs and your ego, and you're seeing it clearly and more vibrantly than you've ever seen it before? At this point, if you're in groups, if you're a part of a group, A Course of Love says groups may need to become more flexible. Groups may even need to meet less frequently. Groups may even disband in favor of former classmates meeting in more casual and spontaneous encounters. You may go from meeting in a regular scheduled group to starting to get together in more casual, spontaneous encounters. One of the things that I'm going to do, I know, in the near future is start to do what I call more spontaneous gatherings, more spontaneous classes, where I will just do a class or do a gathering when I feel spontaneously led to do it by spirit. And so if you've subscribed, then you would instantly be notified whenever I come online to share. So that's going to happen. Sometimes I'm going to feel inspired and I'm just going to want to share at that moment. I don't know who will be online or who may meet me or who may be available, but there's going to be a need to do more casual and more spontaneous encounters. But what remains important? What remains important is for facilitators and group members to be available to one another if at all possible during this time. And what's being gained through experience is still in need of being shared. Ideas increase by being shared. The more who share an idea and believe an idea, the stronger the idea becomes. So every time we come together and share these ideas, we're making these ideas stronger. And the cool part about that is that the stronger the idea becomes, the quicker it manifests in our experience. So us coming together as mighty companions, us coming together as a spiritual family, meeting the way we're meeting with each other through A Course of Love, it's reinforcing our ideas of love, and it's creating a much stronger expression of it. So we are helping each other in ways that we don't even understand. This love and connection that we're giving each other right now, it is helping us in ways that are beyond our comprehension. How much time that you are saving in your own spiritual awakening by being willing to come and join live is fantastic. It's enormous. And this sharing can offer a rich and rewarding opportunity for differences to be revealed and for the welcome realization that differences do not make separate. So what is the realization that we need to welcome? The realization that we need to welcome is that differences do not really separate us. What appears to be differences do not separate us. Your uniqueness and my uniqueness, it does not separate us. So we're on paragraph 29, A.29. It says, the forward motion. Regardless of a group's configuration, the forward motion is still the same regardless of the configuration of the group. Regardless of the configuration of this group, we are still moving forward. Regardless of how many people are tuning in right now, we are still moving forward. I've learned as a teacher that after you do something 5 or 6 weeks, what you tend to end up with is what I call the hardcore members, the hardcore audience, the people who are most resonating to what's going on. In the beginning, when you start a new class or you do something on Facebook Live or in any location, you usually have a large number of people for the very first class or the very first broadcast. But by the fourth meeting, you have really kind of allowed it to become that core group of people who are going to grow together with other people still free and welcome to join and to drop in. So right now we are down to the core group of people who really appreciate this Facebook live class from A Course of Love that I'm doing. And I'm so grateful for you, and I'm grateful for your consistency and your devotion. So we are making a new forward motion. And the new forward motion is away from learning. The next level is to move away from learning and to move toward acceptance. You're moving away from learning to acceptance. Raj, you are just as much a student of this class as everybody else. This gathering is everybody else. You're moving away from learning. Mighty companion that is here with me this evening, watching this with me, I feel you. You're moving away from learning. So where are you moving to? You are moving to the next level. What is the next level? The next level is acceptance. You are moving toward acceptance. You are moving toward what the Course in Miracles calls the happy dream. The perceptual experience and the physical experience of love and joy and awakening while in the body. So we are moving toward accepting what is. Now, even while you are moving toward acceptance what is, differences may be highlighted at this time. But do you know that what will be revealed, what's going to be revealed through sharing, is that while our experiences may differ greatly, we all may have what appears to be different experiences that seem to be offering very diverse learning situations. The individuals will actually be coming to very similar new insights and truths. In other words, even though I seem to be coming from an experience of being an African American man, that I'm a spiritual being that appears to be in a black body, and that you may be of another race, another culture, another age, and you may be having different experiences. What's happening with all of us consciously evolving beings is that we are coming to very similar new insights, and we are coming to very similar new truths. Now, do you know that the impatience of the earlier level may seem to have increased as these experiences will be moving each individual along at their own pace? So what does that mean? It means you may find yourself becoming more impatient. So don't be surprised if you find yourself becoming more impatient. But these experiences of enlightenment that you're having, these experiences of enlightenment that you're going to have, they are going to be moving you along at your own pace. Your awakening will happen at your own pace. So this is a very individual curriculum. It's very important not to compare yourself to anybody else when you are moving along your spiritual path. Comparisons are going to come up, and you may feel like you're not advancing as quickly as other people are advancing. The ego may get into comparison and try to make you feel that you're not waking up, you're not becoming as conscious and as loving as other people are. While those who seem to be moving really, really fast in their awakening, they may feel in need of time to catch their breath. Some of you may feel like things are changing so fast. You may be feeling like you are changing so fast, and that everything in your life is changing so fast that you need to just have a moment to catch your breath. That is exactly what's happening with me right now. The transformations on the inside of me, the acceptance of the truth is happening at such a big level and such a fast level that my awakening process has become so accelerated that I am right now just needing an opportunity to kind of just catch my breath. And let's take a breath right now. Whew. So what should you keep in mind? Well, now, despite the rapidity of movement or lack of movement, you must keep reading the Course of Love. Despite the rapidity of movement or lack thereof, to read the treatises together will likely feel as if it's almost a waste of valuable time. So the gatherings of those working with the Course of Love, especially the part of the Course of Love called the treatises, will naturally include more sharing of experiences. So being able to share your experiences may become even more and more important to you. The facilitator's task, my task, is now one of placing these experiences in context. So how do you place these new learning experiences that you're having in context? After giving the group the time to talk, after all of us have time to express ourselves, the facilitator might choose a brief passage from the material that will fit within the content of the sharing. And always, it's the facilitator's role to guide the individual group members away from inclinations which may be very strong during this time to figure things out. So at this new level of consciousness, one of my major tasks as a facilitator is to keep reminding you to move away from trying to figure things out. Move away from trying to figure things out. At this new level of receiving and accepting, try to move away from your need to analyze everything to pieces. Even though your ego mind loves analyzation, because when you analyze, you break everything down into little bitty parts, and it actually destroys the power and the meaning of what you're receiving. So what seems like the most natural thing to do, to learn, which is to analyze, actually, in the new level of consciousness, in the new way of learning, over-analyzing is the worst thing you can do as far as being able to receive the new level of consciousness. And as a facilitator, I'm going to remind you that you're not being asked to analyze the ideas. You're not being asked to judge the ideas. You are being asked to receive the ideas, to hear the ideas, to let the ideas in, to listen to this the way that you would if you were having a conversation with someone. So, also, when you go into the next level of consciousness that allows you to actualize the truth, what is the one thing that needs to be discouraged? Problem solving. Problem solving is to be discouraged. So what do you replace problem solving with? So instead of trying to problem solve when you're listening to the truth at the brand new level, what you should be doing is encouraging trust. I want to encourage you to trust rather than to analyze. I want to encourage you to trust instead of trying to figure things out. I want to encourage you to trust instead of trying to problem solve. It says in the Course of Love, often a discussion can be facilitated greatly by the question. So what is the question that a great discussion can be facilitated by? How might we be able to look at this situation in a new way? So how might we be able to look at this situation in a new way? So instead of problem solving, whatever the situation or circumstance is, whatever the situation or circumstance is, what you should be saying to yourself is, how might I be able to look at this situation in a new way? How can I look at this situation in a new way? How can I look at this situation in a new way? How can I look at this situation in a new way? How can I look at this situation in a new way? How can I look at this person in a new way? How can I look at this person in a new way? How can I look at this circumstance in a new way? How can I look at this circumstance in a new way? How can I look at this situation that I'm going through right now in a new way? How can I look at this truth that I'm learning right now in a new way? So right now, ask yourself, how can I look at this situation, whatever the situation that you're going through? Say, how might we be able to look at this situation in a new way? Then the Course of Love says, to encourage the gentleness of the art of thought over the relentless strategy of the thinking mind is always helpful, which means obsessive thinking is always ruthless. Obsessive thinking is always ruthless. What's ruthless? Obsessive thinking. Obsessive thinking is judgmental. Obsessive thinking is very wearing on you, the thinker. Obsessive thinking will wear your butt out. Obsessive analyzation and judgment will wear you out. You need help. What do you need help in? You need help in breaking the grip of obsessive thinking that is ruthless and judgmental and that wears you out. And you should never have to suffer through obsessive thinking that's ruthless and judgmental and wears you out, because you deserve.
You know your sin has never been, so cast your cares unto the wind. I see the light, the shining deep inside your mind as you sleep. Dream on, happy dreams come true. Dream on, yeah, it can happen to you. You know your guilt, it isn't real. It's time to stop and to be still. I hear the voice that gently speaks. Wake up, my child, you never sleep. Dream on, happy dreams come true. Dream on, yeah, it can happen to you. You know.
So what would be the most highly valuable service that I could render? And what would be the most highly valuable service that you could render to each other? Assisting each other with the recognition of each other's patterns. If we assisted each other in helping each other recognize our patterns, that is the highest valuable service that a facilitator and other members of this group can provide. The entrenched patterns of the past can be very difficult to dislodge. Even when you recognize your patterns, even when you recognize your ego, those patterns can be very difficult to dislodge. So individuals, us, we can be encouraged here to watch our thoughts and watch our patterns as if they are a parade that's going by. As what has gone unhealed, the patterns that you still have can be brought forward. And those patterns can be brought forward for one, your patterns are being brought forward so that you can accept that this pattern is there. Forgive this pattern and let it go. Let whatever is unhealed, within you, let it come forward. Accept that pattern is in your mind. Forgive it, which is the same as let it go. With the letting go of each old pattern or situation that seems to have you upset, when you let it go, you can tell. Because when you let it go, a cloud of despair, you will feel it lift. You will feel a lightening in your chest. You will feel a little more of the darkness recede. And you will experience a little more light to show you the way. And then in paragraph 33, it says, often here the facilitator will meet as well individual assessments and self-doubts. Group members may wonder if they are missing something. You may be wondering right now if you are missing something. You may feel as if you have not really experienced the unity and the love that A Course of Love describes that should be our natural state. Some of you may feel as if you have not experienced the unity, or as if you are no closer to knowing yourself or God than you've ever been. You may feel, some of you may feel as if this course of study that seemed to be working so well for a while now is letting you down. Some of you may be in the place where you feel like it used to work, but it looks like it's not working like it used to. Or it looks like the truth that you used to study was really making your life better, and now it doesn't seem like it is. These are all the stages being described to us that we may go through as we are going to the next level of learning. So if you are feeling like this isn't working for you the way that it used to, you may wonder where and when the peace, the ease, and abundance promised by this course will finally show up. You may be wondering, well, when is this peace and this love and this abundance and this happiness and this joy that I'm being told is going to show up? It's going to show up. Well, that means if you're feeling that way, it means you need to do this. You need to stay grounded in the present. You need to remember that in the new level of learning, you are no longer trying to get. At the new level, you are no longer ruled by the desire to get, the drive to get, the drive to seek. At the new level, you have found. And what you are really working on at the new level, instead of trying to problem solve and analyze, you are trying to get to the point that you can receive and accept. So I want to give you reassurance that this time of engagement with life, what you're going through, what you are experiencing in your life right now, it is exactly what you need to integrate everything that you've learned. So at the new level, you should be telling yourself, everything that I'm experiencing right now is for my own best interest, even if it doesn't seem like it. Whatever I am experiencing right now, in this present moment, that this time of engagement with my life is exactly what I need to integrate everything that I've learned. The experience that I am having right now is exactly what I need to integrate what I have learned. If you are at the point that it looked like everything that you were studying is not working the way that it used to, or if you're at that place where you're wondering when the peace and the love and the companionship and the ease that's been promised by this course is finally going to arrive, you need to stay grounded. And staying grounded means you need to stay in this present moment and remind yourself, I'm no longer seeking. I am no longer a seeker. I'm not trying to get anything. I'm not trying to get anything. What I'm going through right now is exactly what I need to go through right now to integrate everything that I'm learning. You need to return to the simple words that began the treatise on unity. That is what should be appropriate. And what are these words? It's this: you have a treasure that you don't recognize yet, but that treasure is going to be recognized. I have a treasure that I don't recognize yet, but it's going to be recognized. A treasure that you do not as yet recognize is going to be recognized. You have a treasure that you don't recognize yet, but you are going to recognize it. Tell yourself, a treasure that I do not yet recognize is going to be recognized. Now, don't forget to continue to comment and communicate, because that's what we're here together to do. The once recognized, this treasure that you are going to receive is going to be regarded as an ability. And finally, through the experience of this treasure, through the experience of this new ability that you don't recognize yet, but that you're going to recognize, this new treasure is going to become your identity. So some of the comments that I see online right now is Sophia says, grounded in this holy instant, all is perfect as it is despite the ego's protest. No need to seek or get now. Just hang out with Jesus, taking his simple suggestions. Kathy says, I am no longer trying to get. Now I receive and accept trust. Another comment is, I'm feeling so great, but then I just got the book yesterday. Well, I'm glad you finally have gotten and are able to get the Course of Love. I think it's very important to get the book, especially if I'm going to do what it's saying. Kathy says, I trust, I move forward. Remember, patterns can be difficult to dislodge. I remind myself to be compassionate. Hello, Les. I'm glad to speak to you, and I hope you're enjoying being in Sweden. I know you're traveling. Miss you. It's important for us to follow simple instructions. So Ashley is saying, in attempt to achieve unity, like the Course describes, you watch, you accept, you forgive. And how specifically do we assist each other in recognizing each other's patterns? The way that we help each other in recognizing each other's patterns is for us to remember what we're being taught about how our ego, the part of us that believes that we are separate, operates, and also remembering how our loving mind will operate. So, and then we pause and we ask the Holy Spirit within us, what would you have me say? What would you have me do? What would you always pause and ask, what would you have me say? So helping each other recognize each other's patterns. Another way that happens is that it seems to be easier for me to see when you're being ruled by your fear and your ego than it is for me to see how I'm being ruled by my fear and my ego. So I'm not saying you should go around correcting each other. I am saying that it's perfectly okay to ask a person, would it be okay if you shared what you were feeling intuitively needed to be said to them in that moment that may assist them in recognizing a pattern? So there's not necessarily a concrete way of handling it in every situation. What we want to do, though, is support that person in going beyond their analytical mind and to support that person into telling themselves, right now I have a treasure that I don't recognize yet that I will recognize, that it's okay for you to let your feelings come up, to forgive them, and to let them go. If you see a person judging themselves or condemning themselves for whatever feelings and emotions that they're having. But always pause. That's right, Yvette. Always pause for inspiration. In paragraph 34, It says, the achievements of the past, achievements that awarded credentials, certificates, and degrees, achievements that awarded admiration, respect, and status are now a thing of the past at the next level. What individuals may well be looking for is their reward for the investment they've made in this coursework. That what may be happening at the level of the ego is that you may find yourself looking for your reward. While you're looking for your rewards for doing this, to show up in an old way, what's the old way of looking for your rewards? You're looking for credentials, certificates, degrees, admiration, respect, status. That's not what a conscious being is looking for as a reward for investing in their spiritual awareness. If you're looking for your rewards through power, fame, money, physical pleasure, specialness, then the new ways that your benefits are being revealed to you, you may miss those new ways. So I'm here to remind you gently that the achievements that you had in the past, they didn't really last. And the achievements that you had in the past based on the ego, they're not really what you truly want now. I want to remind you, just like you are to remind others, that the goal is reached in being who you truly are at last. So what is the goal? What is the goal that you are seeking to achieve? Being what you truly are. An unlimited, loving, powerful, spiritual being who is innocent and eternal, who is a creator, who is loved unconditionally, who is in all places, who is beyond the body. That is what you really are. Getting in touch with that powerful super being that you truly are. That's the goal. And that's the reward. And that reward is right here, right now. Anything that's truly real, anything that's truly real and truly valuable and truly worthwhile is always something you can have right now. Your true, real valuables, what's really real and important, is always something you can have in this present moment. And what that is your true self, the Christ, the one creation of our Creator that you truly are. To come into the realization of who you are beyond who you think you are, that temporary self that's going through one change after another change after another change, that self that has fear and then sort of happy and then worried about something, then sort of happy, then concerned about something else, and then sort of happy and then trying to avoid pain and sorrow and suffering. That is not you. That is not you. So the true reward, Earl and my mighty companion, is to come to the realization of your true self as a child of God. In other words, you are the treasure. You are the treasure. So beyond this coursework, you're going to have a direct relationship. You're going to have a direct relationship with Jesus, and you're going to have a direct relationship with other invisible spiritual beings that are part of yourself. That means you're going to enter the dialogue. Entering the dialogue is the way this direct relationship is expressed. Yet this is not merely about entering some kind of a spoken dialogue. I'm not talking about you entering some kind of a spoken dialogue. Creation is but a dialogue. Creation is a dialogue. Expressing your creativity is a dialogue that you haven't responded to. So a creator is someone that is in direct relationship. And being in direct relationship is a dialogue. So what is creation? What is creation? Creation is an unending act of giving and receiving as one. Dialogue is an unending act of giving and receiving as one. Now, if you listen, if you really listen, you will hear. If you really listen. But what are you listening to? What are you listening to? So if you enter into a true creative dialogue, if you enter into a truly creative dialogue, it's like residing in this present moment and hearing all that is being spoken in all the ways it's being spoken. So what does that mean? It means now is the time to truly begin to hear the voice of Christ consciousness, truth consciousness, spirit consciousness, hearing the voice of Jesus in every aspect of creation, and to respond with your own voice in all of your acts of creation. What does that mean? What it means is it's time for you to realize you are a creator. It is time for you to get it. You are a creator. You weren't created to see. You weren't created to do. You were created to create. You are a creator. You are not the victim of anything. You are the creator of everything. You are a creator. You are more than a human being, even though you have an expression of yourself that looks like and feels like an expression of yourself. That's a human being. It's time for you to finally experience really great intimacy. It's a time of great intimacy. It is time for you to know what being truly intimate really feels like. This is a time that is between you and I, more so than has been the coursework up to this point. Jesus says it is a time of realizing that I am speaking to you directly every moment of the day. Your elder brother Jesus is speaking to you every single moment of the day, in all that you encounter, in everything that you feel. And I know that for some of you, just mentioning the word Jesus is a trigger based on the erroneous, fearful ideas that you received in the past when you were growing up. And I have one thing to say to you with all the love that I can muster, and it is, get over it. Get over it. You're just reacting to an old programming that you got as a child and from the world. The Jesus that A Course of Love is describing is not the Jesus of fear that many of us learned in our childhood. So you have to just get over it and realize that you're responding to an old program. Jesus of the Course of Love is totally loving, totally helpful, totally conscious, and is trying to correct our misperceptions. Out here people say Buddha and Krishna and all kinds of Indian gods, but if you say the word Jesus, they freak out. That is just you responding to old patterns that are not based on anything that's true. So it is time. What time is it? It's a time of true revelation. And what is a time of true revelation? A time of true revelation is a time when who you really are is revealed to you. This is what's about to happen to you. And you're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked to realize that you are not a body, that you are not a limited flesh and blood being that began when you were born and is going to end when your body dies. It is time to get beyond adolescent perceptions of who we are that we've learned from the world. I am not this body that you're looking at on Facebook Live. I am not this body that you are looking at on Facebook Live. This right here is my communication device. It is what gives me the ability to communicate with you on this plane. Who I am is not this body. I have this body. This body is my way of communicating and joining minds and hearts with you. You are not your learning device either. So, you are about to come into true revelation. And with true revelation, who you are is revealed to you. This is what dialogue, particularly the dialogue that is expressed and exchanged between two or more gathered together, reveals. When two or more are gathered together, it reveals who you really are. Us coming together right now is a reminder of who we really are. You are love. Teach only love, because love is what you are. So this relationship between self and other, the relationship between self and life, the relationship between self and God, humanity and divinity, that's the dialogue of which we speak. I know it may look like, thank you for the hearts, thank you for the responses. I feel you. This dialogue that we're speaking of, it may seem to suggest duality, but it's really suggesting relationship. The idea of unity, the idea of relationship must enter you fully now. The idea of unity and the idea of relationship must fully, completely enter you now. You are not just a student of these dialogues. You are now a full participant in these dialogues. Would you consider that you have entered the final stages of revelation? Would you consider that maybe you've entered the final stages of revelation of who you are? Would you consider that you have reached the point when who you are is fully revealed? When who you are is fully revealed, you will realize, when you really realize who you are, you will realize it is time to leave the classroom. It is time for you to leave the classroom when you remember you are spirit. That's when it will be time to leave the classroom. What do you do when you leave the classroom after you have remembered your true self? You start to live as who you really are in this world. It is time to live as your authentic self, who you really are as a child of God, as consciousness, as spirit, as a divine being in human form in this world. When who you are is really fully revealed to you, you will realize that your participation in the world as who you are, that's going to be part of an ongoing dialogue, and that it is an ongoing aspect of creation by which the new can be created. Take a breath. I want to invite you right now to really let yourself hear this, to really let go of your analytical mind, the part that's trying to figure things out. And you might even want to just sit comfortably and let yourself feel this, and let yourself feel the Christ consciousness come into you, the love consciousness come into you. So what now would be your relationship to this work that has returned you to who you are? Well, your relationship to this work continues as you live and express who you are being in this world. Now it's time for you to be yourself in this world. For some of you, this may mean continued involvement in this coursework. Some of you may feel a need to directly share this coursework with others. And many of you, you may not feel like doing either one of those. For each, being who you are is going to be an expression of unity. Being who you are is going to be an expression of oneness, but it's only going to be in the way that's unique to you. And as you express who you are being, as you express who you are being in unity and relationship, then you're going to have the creation of the new. And the creation of new will proceed, and wholeness and healing will start to renew the world that you're living in. This course is going to become a beloved alma mater, honored and returned to as the giver of new life. What you are learning offers no walls to confine you. What you are learning doesn't contain any dogma to restrict you. It is new life. You are allowing yourself now to have new life, and to have new life come and extend the way of creation. You are going to extend the way of love. You are going to extend the way of living. You are going to extend the new way. It will be with you in every dialogue. It will not leave you comfortless. It has no end point in the benefits and associations. What continues of this course is going to be a brand new dialogue. And this dialogue is going to be ongoing. So what do you do, Earl? What do you do, mighty companion? What do you do? You gather still, but you gather with those with whom you learned and grew and became new, and then you're going to gather with other beings like you in a greater and greater and greater configuration. This new dialogue is going to go on all around you. I am with you. Jesus says, I am with you, and I will never leave you comfortless. Call on me. I am here. Talk to me. I will hear you. Listen, and I will respond. I am in each voice that responds to you. I am in Earl's voice. I am in Yvette's voice. I am in Kathy's voice. I am in Julie's voice. I am in every voice that surrounds you. Your voice is my voice, says Jesus, as you respond to others. So the message is, go forth. I want you to go forth. Not as completed works of art. I want you to go forth as permeable energy. I want you to go forth as something that is always changing, ever creating. I want you to go forth as something that is ever new. How else should you go forth? I'll tell you how else you should go forth. You should go forth with openness for revelation to happen through you, through everything you encounter. What should you do? I'll tell you what you should do. You should go forth joyously in this adventure. What kind of adventure? This adventure of discovery. Go joyously in this adventure of discovery. Do you know what else you should do? Be ever new. Be ever one. Be ever the beloved. Bring your voice. Bring your voice. What should you do? bring your voice to this continuing dialogue. That's the only thing I am asking of you, is to bring your voice to this continuing dialogue of truth. This is the gift that you've been given. What you are experiencing and hearing and studying is a gift that you've been given. It's the gift that you are supposed to bring to this world. Bring your own voice. Bring the voice of who you are. We want to hear the voice of who you are. But I'll tell you this, the voice of who you are, it is not a voice of separation. I tell you that. The voice of who you really are, it's not a voice of your separated self. Who you really are is a voice of union. Do you know that who you really are is the voice of the one self? That's how union is expressed. That's how union is made recognizable in form. It is what will usher in the new. It is what will change the world. Your voice, your authentic voice, your conscious voice, free of guilt, free of the idea of sin, free of the idea of unworthiness, free of the idea of lack. The healing, the creation of the new, the beautiful world and experience that you want to have, it cannot be accomplished without you. It can't be accomplished without you. It cannot be accomplished without you. Without your ability. Without your ability to do what? Without your ability to stand in unity. Without your ability to stand in relationship as the accomplished. You are the accomplished. You are the accomplished. Beloved brothers, beloved sisters, you are the accomplished. As usual, it has been my total honor and privilege to share with you tonight. And I'm going to do a quick wrap up that allows us to complete with takeaways. And feel free to share some of your takeaways right now. If you'd like to support my teaching ministry, and you'd like to show a financial expression of appreciation, please go to www.earlpurdy.com. I would be so appreciative and grateful. I am available for one-on-one sessions with me, and I go deep. If you'd be interested in what I offer and working with me personally, go to my website and look under the section called Clarity Sessions. And it also talks about mentoring and coaching also. I am available to you. If you want to find out more about A Course of Love, go to acourseoflove.org. For the music, my good friend JohnChristmas.com. Let's see what some of the takeaways are before I do the wrap up, because you are the accomplished. You have accomplished. And you're seeing what you went through to be the accomplished. Kathy says, I know who I am. Julie says, amazing, one-on-one with Earl. Thank you for letting people know how much you appreciate the session that you had with me, Julie. Shahira, Most High, bless your servant, Earl Raj Purdy. Thank you for that blessing. I want your prayers. Mark says, receive and accept. Kathy says, I do stand in Jesus' name. Amen. Shahira says, I will stand. Yvette says, the breath of God. Clara says, authenticity and uniqueness are unity. Julie says, it is what will usher in the new and change the world. Shahira says, free. Yes, I am the bridge. No guilt, no condemnation, no sin, never. I love these takeaways. Stay open to revelation. And Shahira says, I love all of you here. Thank God that you lead me to this community. I am grateful. And the thought that we want to complete with this, I am the accomplished.
Your sin has never been, so cast your cares unto the wind. I see the light, the shining deep inside your mind as you sleep. Dream on.
You are accomplished. I am accomplished. You are accomplished. I am accomplished. Say it to yourself right now.
Yeah, it can happen to you.
I am accomplished. 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 You are accomplished. You are accomplished. You are accomplished. Your happy dreams come true. You got to dream on.
Dream on. Yeah, it can happen to you.
You are ever changing. You are ever creating. You are ever new. I go forth in openness. I go forth in openness. I go forth in openness. We go forth in openness.
And now you know, yes you can tell. Dreams they come, dreams they go. That time away is now at hand, as we forgive the Son of Man. Dream on.
Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. It can happen to you. Guess what? You are innocent. You are the voice. We need your voice. We need your voice. You are innocent. 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 You are entitled to miracles. Yeah. You are. You know your sin has never been.
So cast your cares
So cast your cares
unto the wind.
unto the wind.
I see the light,
I see the light
that's shining deep.
that's shining deep.
Inside your
Mind and
you sleep.
dream on, dream the happy dream, dream the happy,
Dreams come true.
happy dreams come true. Dream on, mighty companions, it can happen to you. I love you so much. Dream on. I love you. 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 Dream on. The happy dream has come. The happy dream has come. Will you allow it? Dream on. The happy dream has come, baby, baby, baby. Dream on.
The final dream has come.
Mighty companion, I love you so much. Share this video, listen to it many times, and may this course be with you. I love you. Thanks for joining me live. You a blessing. I love you. I love you. I love you.